Welcome back to another dinner and discussion. All right, well, I pick a topic. Gabriel, why don't you tell them what dinner we're doing today?
Yeah, so we do a steak kind of taco dinner. We get these like steak chunks from the grocery store, throw them in the air fryer. We get some refried beans, cheese, and typical tortilla. And so Lex usually makes these little like steak piece chunk tacos. Today we're doing little tacos, little taquitos of them, and that's what we're cooking. That's what we're eating today. So it's gonna be a little more messier eat.
And we're going to discuss chores/cleaning. For those who can't see that very well. Chores/cleaning. Okay, so I will say, as a modern woman, I would argue that one of the biggest things couples face nowadays is the distribution of like household maintenance. Would you agree? You can just nod since I know you just, or shake your head since I know you just took a bite. But I would say like household management is like a huge topic or like point of contention sometimes.
I think I would counter that. Maybe it's not the top one, but definitely close. Is expectations of partners with cleaning.
Like meaning like how well they clean. You think that's a bigger issue than who cleans?
Like who cleans what? You know what I mean? Because I think a lot of times too, like when two groups come together, like unless both parties are not the cleanliest of people, you know what I mean? Like both have cleaned kitchens, both have clean living rooms, both have clean bedrooms, both have clean bathrooms. You know what I mean? Like if you're someone who's lived with roommates or by yourself, you know what I mean? Like I think you've cleaned before to some extent. And so I think that's another thing is like when you come into a partnership, like it kind of actually goes hand in hand with yours. So actually, yeah, I agree.
I just feel like that's like another issue separately, but like I think like maybe it's because I've been on Reddit too much lately and stuff, but I feel like there's a strong demographic of men that don't believe that they should clean.
Okay, I don't know about that. That's wild.
You don't think so?
Well, I'm saying it's wild that there's such a large population of men who like don't think they have to like clean. I think that's the wild part. Is a lot of men are like.
But you would agree that men feel that way, or like that? I guess I'm confused when you say wild. Like, are you saying it's wild that I said that? Like men don't believe they should clean, or you're saying wild that that's a true thing?
Yeah, there's a population of guys who believe that.
Yeah, because like I just think like. That's what I said, as a modern woman, like back in the day, it was very normal for women to take care of the house, which primarily was cleaning and maintaining the house. And men went to work and were the provider. And now as a modern woman, like it's hard for any household to survive on just one income. Like, of course, there's those odd, or those, I shouldn't say odd, but those like random outliers that there is enough money on one person's salary to do that. But like for the majority, both people have to work. And so then, the thought process in that is then both people should have to clean if both people have to work. And so I think that's like an interesting dynamic that we're still having that conversation now that like both incomes are required.
Well, I think it's, you know what I mean? Like, I think a good foundation, a good base for it is like you're both using a space. You know what I mean? Especially, I mean, like going on top of like the fact that both parties are like working now too. It's not like people are both working 8-hour days. One might be working more, but like at minimum, both are working full days, morning till like late afternoon. You're both, you know what I mean? You both use the bathrooms, you both use the showers, both use the kitchens. You know what I mean? Like. Unless you're in one spot and you don't do anything else in your house, you know what I mean? Like it's a shared thing, and I think once you look at it that way, I think it's an easier like flip in someone's head that like like I want to make sure that this is clean. You know what I mean? Like for my own sake, for our partner's sake, for the household's sake. You know what I mean? Like you want to make sure that like these areas are like not filthy or like dirty or like. Not taken care of to any degree. So
I agree. And then I think that segues into what you were talking about with like expectations and like depending on how you live or how you were raised, it's very different. Like for Gabe and I, my mom has like, she's not diagnosed, but she kind of has like OCD tendencies, I guess, with cleaning, I would say. Like, my mom used to vacuum like 4 times a day. I think she still does. I don't really ask her that many cleaning questions, but I will say, whenever Gabe and I are cleaning and we're FaceTiming her, she sure has got a lot to say. And so that was an adjustment for me, because when Gabe and I first got together, it would cause like a lot of like unnecessary tension between the two of us, because I would have this unrealistic expectation from my childhood where like, you should be able to lick a surface, it's that clean, versus Gabe is more of a practical cleaner of being like, you don't see any dirt, there isn't any dirt there. Like, it's really like, kind of like, would you say that's like a fair like way to like summarize like your cleaning, like laid back but not pigsty?
No, I think I like want to like a clean house where there's like nothing lying around, there's nothing like trash or like anything gross, or like, what I mean, like it looks like people live here, but like it's not like a ready to go like house where like there's not like a piece of dust to be found in the entire house. Like when you're trying to sell it, you go like these open houses, you know what I mean? Like, it's people live in this house, it's regular life, you know what I mean? If you find one little like spill and it's not gone, you know what I mean? Like, it's gone, you know what I mean? It's stuff like that. But I think that's because like, for me, like I didn't grow up like in a dirty house, but like my mom was a super clean, and I think that it definitely was a disservice because there wasn't an expectation for me in my house to like be clean, or like to clean around the house, or like have chores.
To be a cleaner, yeah.
To be one of the cleaning. Like, I would keep track of my room. Like, my room was like never filthy. I hated my room was like disorganized in like any capacity. Like clothes lying anywhere, trash overflow. You know what I mean? No. That was my space, and I was like that all through college. Like, my space was always like great because I want to make sure it's in the best place whenever I leave. I'm always busy.
For the ladies.
I always had air fresheners in my room too, because I always wanted my room to smell nice when I walked in.
I really love that you gave me side eye for that comment, and then you leveled up with like, and it smelled good.
Yeah, I always had air fresheners in it. Well, that's because like, in context, if you haven't seen our other ones, I was in fraternity houses and houses with numerous guys, and we had chores, but like, you're living in a house with 12 other guys, you know what I mean? Like, and I was one of the cleaner, like I don't say cleaner, but like I cleaned.
No, you were. I think that's a fair, like.
Well, I said none of them were like dirty, but like chores, you know what I mean? Like,
boys attract messes, even if it's unintentional. I feel like they just like are messy people.
Yeah, so like I would want to make sure I would want to do my chores and make sure it's like nicer, and like try to do dishes and all that kind of stuff. So like, for me, not seeing anything like gut grime was like pristine, and that was like for all of college, you know what I mean? Because what it looked like regularly wasn't that. So I know a lot of our guys, and me in particular, took pride in that. Like, we kept our place looking nicer and not trashed all the time. And so like, that was my bare minimum. If there's nothing that looks wrong, you're fine. You know what I mean? Like, but would I want to eat something off stuff in the house? And so like Lex saying like, no, I would, no. But, and then, you know what I mean? Like, that's when like our expectations started to like clash when it was just me and her living together. We didn't have roommates anymore.
Couldn't blame it on that like third party, you know, like, oh, maybe it was like X, Y, and Z did this. Like, we had a roommate named Sean, and I, in college, loved Sean to pieces. Shout out to Sean, one of the best roommates I've ever had. But Gabe and him both have beards, so they'd both shave. And I joked with them that I would get them that cape that, you know, suction cup to the mirror and then caught all their beard hair, because they would clean up the bathroom and there'd be all this beard hair about, and I would like talk to Gabe about it, and Gabe would be like, well, that must be Sean's hair. And then I'd talk to Sean about it, and Sean would be like, that must be Gabe's beard hair. And I'm like, now if there's beard hair in the sink, it's a clear winner as to who that beard hair is. And so it's like, it removed those things where like, oh, if like Gabe just did the dishes and then there's dishes in the sink, they're my dishes. You know what I mean? So it's like, there was no third party. I mean, we do blame some stuff on Gizmo sometimes just to be funny. Or we're like, Gizmo, why'd you do that? Like, because we talk to our dog like any normal dog parents do. But yeah, so I think that like kind of, that's why I think living together before you take like that next step or like really commit to each other is so important, because you don't think the way you're raised or like the influences your parents had on you matter, but they do. Like they, even subconsciously, they affect you in like certain ways. And like, so it's one of those things where like you have to live with each other. You have to figure out, how did that person grow up? How is that person clean? And I mean, Gabe and I have been together for, this will be 8 years, right? Which is like really crazy to think about, that we've been together for 8 years this November. But Gabe and I just now started to figure it out. Like we've had like if you've listened to the Gottmans or whatever, they're like this relationship couple, and I believe I heard it from them first. But like couples tend to like fight or disagree on like three main things. Does that sound familiar? And I would say like one of Gabe and I's main things that we always like butt heads about was cleaning. Like the expectation of who's going to clean, the expectation of how you were going to clean, the expectation when we were going to clean, because we both work. That, you know, that caused us to butt heads a lot. And then Gabe came up with like a really good system, and he did something for me that was really nice, because like after we cleaned the bathroom together, I kind of like had a little breakdown. So I was like, Gabe, this is kind of what clean means to me, and this is kind of where we're at, kind of thing. And Gabe was like, oh, I think I kind of have like an idea and stuff. And so I feel like we're on a much better path towards each other about cleaning.
Yeah, no, I definitely, there's a lot of back and forth too, you know what I mean? Like Lex and I, we went back and forth on like, was this clean enough? Did you clean this? You know what I mean? Like, when are we gonna clean that? We're both tired. When are we gonna do this? You know what I mean? Like, we own a house now. That's all. It's not an apartment anymore. You know what I mean? Like, there's the area just bigger to clean. You know what I mean? Like, vacuuming could take an hour just because.
Damn baseboards.
Yeah.
Worst thing in the whole world.
So there's just a lot to like. There's more to take care of, especially because it's ours now too, with it being in the house. And so, I think we have to, what I came up with, the idea, like Lex mentioned, sorry, I'm being distracted by a curious human.
Cheese off of your plate.
We kind of came up with an expectations kind of thing where like essentially for every single room, every area, so you think, you know, your kitchens, your bathrooms, your living rooms, your dining rooms, the hallways, the floors, our garage, our gym, the bedrooms, closets, everywhere essentially, even mowing the yard, taking care of the car, like cleaning it. I created an expectations of what clean looks like and what clean doesn't look like. So if there's stuff that is on that side of what doesn't clean look like, that you got to take care of it. But your standard, at least what you should aim for every time, is what clean looks like. And it always has some kind of like checklist associated with it, so you know, like, okay, I gotta hit this area. Have we done this? And me and Lex, you know, got more into rhythm with it. And the cool thing I think with that is, a big thing that I struggled with was cleaning, like spending like a whole day almost like cleaning. You know what I mean? Like and me and Lex, the only thing that started with us is like, I'm a morning person, and I know if I have something to do, I wake up and I'm like, all right, I'm not gonna like this today. It's not what I want to do today, but like, it's got to get done. And so I just go. You know what I mean? I'll wake up, like, eat a quick meal. If I not even, just brush my teeth and just start like cleaning. Lex is a warm up person, and so Lex would take about an hour.
Such a nice way to say it.
An hour, 2 hours to like get her like energy to a good place, and I'm like, I've been wanting to clean for like 2 hours, or like Lex is like watching me clean, and then she's like, well, we have to do this together. It's better if we do it together, you know, instead of us doing it isolated, because then one person's gonna clean more, one person's gonna feel bad. Because I'm the same way. If I see her cleaning and I'm just kind of relaxing, I'm gonna feel anxious. You know what I mean?
It's that divorced parent household. I don't know. Comment below if it's like normal in a regular person's household, but like I think we both grew up with parents that like really resented each other towards the end. And mine, I think that's why I was so kind of like, I wouldn't say, maybe mean's the best word to say, I don't know. But like, I was kind of so mean to Gabe about cleaning, because like I grew up in such a household where my mom's cleaning was like her identity and like her worth. And like, that's how she like that's where her value was, I guess, in it. And so like it would always bug me, like how Gabe said, I was like, oh, everything has to be deep cleaned all the time. We would do it on Sundays because, Sunday reset day is, a popular day. And I'd be like, yeah, Gabe, we're going to clean the whole house on Sunday. And Gabe's like, that face right there, the thing that he just did. He was just like, F this woman, F this house.
No, it's not. It's a vast extreme.
I'm going to grin and bear it in a sense. And like, I would get so upset because like we're much different people now. Like Gabe and I both get up at 5:45 in the morning. But if you would have talked to me about that like 4 months ago, I would have been like, you're crazy. I don't get up before 10 p.m. or 10 a.m. on a Saturday and Sunday. And so like I would sleep in. Gabe would get up because he takes Gizmo out, and Gizmo is like a 4:30 riser. And he would just start cleaning, and I would feel like, oh my gosh, Gabe is going to resent me because he's over here cleaning all the time and I'm not pulling my weight kind of thing. And it led to him getting frustrated because he's like, no, I'm just taking advantage of the daylight that we got going. And I'm just trying to get a jump start. Because like at the end of the day, kind of like what I just did where I'm like, fuck this girl, fuck, all these things. I tend to like dramatize problems in my head. Gabe, if you've ever met him, had the pleasure of meeting him, is the most laid back dude ever. So like, even though I say Gabe says mean things about me in his head, he really doesn't. Like he just is not really capable of it. But that's how I feel. I'm like, God, Gabe's gonna freaking hate me because like we're gonna have this downfall of like when to clean and stuff. And so like he ended up, and he was also frustrated that it would take us so long to clean. And I was kind of explaining to him, I'm like, well, it takes us so long to clean because we wait so long in between doing stuff. The longer you take to clean a space, like the less time you want a space to take to clean, you have to clean it more frequently in a sense, because then you're just doing like sweep buys instead of deep cleaning the 3-month scum stain that's on the baseboard because you haven't touched it, And so Gabe came up, we've been really heavy into our calendar. Right, the calendar came first?
So just for context, we have a Google Calendar because there's always, Lex's trying to accomplish a lot of things, and Lex does very well with structure. If she has a task list, just a blank task list.
I'm a type A homie.
It's she'll get it done at some point or some other way, or she'll try doing it all at the same time, and our kitchen sometimes will see the impact of it. She's cooking 3 different meals at the same time, which is always fun to watch.
A multitasker.
Yeah, she's a multitasker extreme. And so the schedule helps out us. We started using that to like training with our dog Gizmo, with understanding appointments, with our things we want to accomplish, things we want to do in the weekends. Before we had like a calendar on the wall. That was great, but like there's things we want to do like during the day, and most calendars can't fit everything you want to do in a day, especially like in the evenings. We want to like capture as much time as we got, after work, being busy and stuff like that.
Yeah, your girl has 15 alarms just to keep her on habit tracks.
Exactly. And so even like in the morning ones. And so with that, I took advantage of that cleaning expectations that we did for the rooms. Essentially, we booked times throughout the week where each area would have their own cleaning days and then a certain time frame. So about 6 o'clock every day, or 6 o'clock on cleaning days is when we would clean, and we get notifications on our phone like, hey, you're gonna clean the bathrooms, in like 10, 15 minutes. And it's gotten to a point now where we're like getting a habit where we're like, okay, Monday, Wednesdays usually are our big cleaning days. And then, what?
Gabe, first off, is an amazing man because he came up with this whole structure. But it's so cute of him that he thinks I remember this pattern. I don't. I literally look at this Google Calendar every day, and I'm like, what do we got to do today? Versus Gabe's like, I could literally be like, oh, we got to clean today, and he's like, no, babe, it's Thursday. We don't clean on this day because we do our budget review and our grocery order every week. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. We're not cleaning today. I'm like mentally just like always off. But Gabe's like, yeah. This schedule, I got it. Like 3 Mondays from now, yeah, we're cleaning the bedrooms. Like, don't worry. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, every day I have to log on, look at the cleaning expectations to refresh ourselves on it, and then like we go about clean. And we do it we schedule an hour out, Gabe does, but I think we usually take like 15, 30 minutes. The only space that requires us to take the full hour is our bathroom.
Yeah,
right?
The bathroom is just because we want to make sure that area is the cleanest as possible.
Yeah, Gabe and I shed a lot.
Yeah, the beard is not the only thing. I'm because I'm talking about this hair that I have on my head.
Yeah, our hair. Yeah, we fight. And we have our biggest competition in life is who's gonna shed more.
It's a lot of hair. But yeah, no, I think a lot of the cleaning, chores. I mean, it's I'll say it once, say again, Charlie's their own. Like when it comes to how couples want to do and partners want to clean their like living spaces. You know what I mean? Because of the cleaning would probably be the main reason why I would want a smaller house than the smallish house that we have like now. You know what I mean? Like I would just want less space, just so there's less to maintain. Because there's parts of the house like we only have a lot of it for like a gym and when people visit. There's like a one room we just don't go to because
our guest room, every time we have to clean bedrooms, is literally 5 seconds. We dust the blinds and we mop and vacuum the floors, and that's really all we do because we don't get a lot of guests in Texas that much. But it's there in case we do get it, which is nice around the holidays when we host. But
yeah, so I think with chores and cleaning, you know what I mean? Like, I think it's a big thing for couples to really understand. And one of the first things you want to set up that with like, as well as like budgeted money. Just figure that out because it sets the tone. You know what I mean? Like something I mentioned, it took us on the closer side of 8 years to like find a rhythm that is starting to work for both of us. And that's to say that like, we didn't find things that worked for a little bit but we like fell off. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of trial and error for us figuring stuff out and having those better conversations for like, okay, why are we experiencing so much issues with cleaning? And that involved us, we did couples therapy before we got married. We did it in between because like I said, we both come from relationships of divorced parents. So we never had a long-term example of what good looked like. You know what I mean? Like parents who've been together 20 plus years, you know what I mean? Like what's that look like long term? We saw a couple, like our parents married, but like we didn't see it, they're not married to their same partners now. And so I think because of all that, it started to build on top of each other. The fact that we were able to communicate better, the fact that like we understand what we're bringing to the table just as people, but as well as like the cleaning habits and subconscious things that you want to bring. I think with us doing that, it allows us to start building more and more on like what we want to do and the kind of tone we want to set, because I think it, like you mentioned it early on with like the modern woman with like the cleaning and like the expectations that were still for a lot of people a thought. You want to set the tone when you have kids, when it comes to top of it, you know what I mean? Like the fact that dad only does outside stuff, you know what I mean? Like I'm doing dishes, I'm doing folding laundry, I'm doing like all the other, you know what I mean? Like I'm doing all the same chores, and mom will do a lot of the same. She maybe won't do all the outside ones.
I will say I definitely lean hard into that stereotype. It was a hard rule for me for when like Gabe and I each had our like non-negotiables. Actually, probably more like me. I don't think Gabe was just gonna love me. He didn't really have any non-negotiables in our relationship, but mine was like, I do not do yard work. Like I got ridiculed like as a kid. Ridicule's maybe a tough word, but like how I did yard work as a kid was never good enough, and so therefore it just like left a sour taste in my mouth. And so I was just like, I told Gabe early on, like when we bought this house, I'm like, hey, I don't care if I have to like allocate a quarter of my salary to yard work. All I know is I'm not doing it. So the options are you do the yard work or we pay someone to do the yard work, because I don't know how to walk in a straight line most days. So mowing wasn't going to be a thing. Me with like tools, touch and go. So like that is a stereotype that we do lean heavily in. It unfortunately falls on Gabe, who lived primarily in the city or in a fraternity house. So like he didn't have a lot of yard work experience in his life, even though I get it, he's brown, and so there's an assumption to be made, but it's not a real assumption. It's not a good assumption. So he's had to learn, and he's been very patient with me, and he's been doing awesome, and he's I think finally getting his groove. I will say for our family, and like Gabe said with his famous line, to each their own. I'm not gonna say it like him because I would butcher it and it wouldn't be as funny, but you really have to find something that works for you, and like finding this calendar for us has really put us into a really good stride, because like you can start anything at any time. Like we've started probably 15 different cleaning schedules, or like how to clean or when to clean or what to clean, all these things. And like all that matters at the end of the day in life with anything is building habits and being consistent. And like Gabe said, like this so far has been the most consistent. Like even if we fall off and like life gets busy, like yesterday, was it yesterday? No, yesterday was Thursday. So we didn't have anything to clean. Oh, on Tuesday, I came home and I like didn't want a life. I just wanted to lay in bed and rot and eat ice cream. And like, I just had a tired day. I was tired. And we just didn't clean our living room and dining room that day. And like, we moved it to a different day, or we'll wait until it comes back up in rotation. And it's one of those things like you give yourself grace, but you stick to it. And like, so 9 times out of 10, Gabe and I are cleaning the designated area on the designated day. And we're doing it together, which I think is really important. We're communicating with each other. If we feel like a space isn't up to like either of our expectations or up to like what we set. And like, I think that's super important. And that's why like everyone thinks cleaning is such a simple task, but I think there's a lot of nuances in cleaning. Like I think it really is like, you have to take into account that not everyone was taught how to do laundry or to clean a toilet or to unclog a drain. Like, not everyone has those experiences growing up, but then also at the same time, like some people maybe, you know, they needed to like have like military corner beds, like where, you know, the sheets are so crisp, you can like bounce a quarter off of them. And then some people, their parents didn't friggin' care if they made the bed like all week. And so like, it's really finding like harmony within your household. Like it would probably drive my mom crazy that we don't vacuum. Like we vacuum once a week. Right? Roughly about once a week. Each individual space now gets its own like individual, like it overlaps a little bit, but like our main living and dining space, which like you guys can't see right now, you can only see our dining room, but like it's Gizmo's world here. Like Gizmo has little armies of Gizmo buddies, and we could care less because Gabe and I are doing so many other things. And until we host people, like I always do like a really crazy clean before people come over, but until then, I'm like, it's just Gabe and I, and if Gabe doesn't care about the hairball and I don't care about the hairball, clearly Gizmo doesn't give a crap about the hairball. Why should we? And I think that was something I had to learn as an individual. Like, I had to alter my expectations, which I think is another lesson to be learned of like your expectations for others and your expectation for yourself, where it's like, I'm like, why do I think that like we need to have like this military stable or sterile household? And then I realized it was irrational in a sense. And like Gabe and I have been much better because of that.
Yeah,
I'm not crazy.
It's definitely, I think it's just really, like I said, it depends on your guys' dynamic and what you want your house to look like. You know what I mean? Like some people could want what Lice was mentioning, you know what I mean? Like they want a house or there's not anything inside, or you know what I mean? Like it's always in its best condition possible, and that's fine.
Yeah.
There's some people where they, you know what I mean, are a lot more lax. And that's okay too. I mean, it's
your space.
Yeah, at the end of the day, like it's your space. It's how you want to live in it. It's how you want to do with it. I say to some degree, you know, don't be healthy. You know what I mean? Like be in a livable
please
kind
don't
of space.
attract insects if possible.
You know what I mean? Like be clean to some degree, but don't like let it get out of hand or anything. And you'll know. You know what I mean? I think it's common knowledge when you can tell if something's clean or dirty. Or I hope. But yeah, I think that's really the big thing. I think chores are important. I think it just builds a good habit, and I think it builds the fact that I think for me that's what my change more is like. It's not my parents' stuff, parents like house. Like we spent the time to make this house. We spent the time to pull the stuff together. Like I want to make sure it stays in a good condition. I want to make sure it's okay. You know what I mean? Like taking care of stuff. I think it's not being worried what people would think, but having pride in the stuff that you like do. Good kind of pride where like, well, this is mine. I want to make sure it's okay and it's doing well. You know what I mean? Like take pride in that kind of stuff because, do it for you. Do it for your partner.
Things last longer when you take care of them. You know what I mean? Like especially as homeowners, we're finding out like the better you take care of things, the less likely you have to replace them. Or furniture for adults is really freaking expensive. Like if you want good quality furniture that's gonna last you, like you really have to invest in it. And like if you're not taking care of it, like of course it's not gonna last you as long. But something we didn't really even bring up, and we'll have to talk about it. I think there's some kid topics in there. But kind of like the last thing that I want to bring up, whatever we didn't talk about, is I don't necessarily agree, and maybe this is a hot take, because I know we always like kids, like there's a whole balance of like kids earning money, how do they earn money so they can buy their things, and like what some people do is chores. And I personally don't think that you should pay your kids money to clean the house, because I think later in life that could create an expectation of the sense of being like, well, you only like cleaning is a necessity to some capacity. Like Gabe said, it doesn't matter what your version of clean is, if it's like crystal sparkling clean or if it's just tidying up. Like there is still a level of clean that needs to happen to avoid, mold, to avoid like insects, to avoid like harmful stuff that you can like ingest or whatever. But like kids, I feel like that are raised on chore charts where they get like rewarded for doing everyday tasks. I think sometimes struggle to then complete the everyday task when they're not being incentivized. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I was paid for chores and I wasn't paid for chores. Like I was back and forth. I think it depends on like if you want them to do, like I think kids have to understand like that's just, if you want it to be, you know what I mean? Like again, if you want to incentivize your kids, it's your kids, it's not like someone's telling you can't. But I think it's dependent on what kind of standard or kind of like you want to hold for like the house, you know what I mean? And I think that goes back to like including your kids in everything you do. Something Lex and I want to try and to implement once we have kids is like, even though they can't be heavily involved, when they're 4 or 5, you know what I mean? But like have them participating to some degree so they can understand and like be a part of it and why we do it, because our incentive is to make sure it's clean enough for a family and clean enough for all this, and we understand the consequences and the general grasp of all that entails, but kids don't, you know what I mean? Like, and kids are walking messes, you know what I mean? Like but for them to understand that like, okay, I made a mess, let me see, once they can understand it, what we could do to clean up the mess. And I think sometimes when they're older, incentivizing them, but I guess it depends on how you incentivize them if you want to do it, because at some point kids are going to be like, I don't want to do that. You know what I mean? Like they'll start being like, I'd rather do something else. I'd rather go play. I'd rather go do this. But I think if you want to incentivize them, to do it like the best kind of way. And I think if you're going to incentivize them so they learn that, and unless you do it better or do it in like what we expect, then you like will receive what you're gonna get. You know what I mean? If I say clean your room and I see it's like half-assed done or like just a little bit, then no. I was like, and you know what I mean? You don't get it. And I think that sets a good mentality moving forward, that like if you're gonna do something, do it. You know what I mean? Like if you're gonna like, oh, I'm gonna do this and I'm still gonna get my whatever because I did it.
You do like
you know
a
what I mean?
quick
I did enough. Now I get my prize. No, you got to do it, and you got to do it right and do it to expectations that we've talked about this entire time. And then from there, that incentive could be, some monetary, some doing things, some like, oh, you get to, play games for like an hour longer or something, like, you know what I mean? Like if you could do that. But I think it depends on like how you want to set that structure for them. If you're going to use incentives for them, it's incentives used correctly, not incentives to be like, all right, do your chores, done, here's $5. Well, did you do them right? Did you half-ass them? Did you do, you know what I mean? Like, I think it goes back and forth with that, because I've been on both sides. I've seen incentives, and when I wasn't incentivized anymore, I had to find my own reason to keep my stuff clean. And I didn't get that reason until I was older.
And did you find like it was harder because you got incentivized first and then you went to not getting incentivized? So you feel like it was harder because you already saw the grass was greener on the other side, like your mom gave you $1 to vacuum and now you got a vacuum for $0? You know what I mean?
Well, I mean,
like,
yeah, I think it puts
reference?
a negative thing on tone onto it now, because like now I'm doing this for free. You know what I mean? Like,
and that's kind of think what it is where it's kind of like, it's like builds this like instant gratification as an adult, because you're like, well, here's this chore chart. Like, these are $1 chores. These are $5 chores.
Yeah, I wouldn't
whatever.
really
And then,
that.
like, they're like, oh my gosh, I'm going to get $2 for, like, vacuuming. And then, like, as an adult, you're like,
Yeah,
okay, I just
anyway.
vacuumed and no one's here to give me $2. Unless you want to incentivize yourself, like, maybe you got a budget and you, like, set aside money every month to, like, convince you to do household chores. But, like, I don't know. I just feel like it's hard to then, like, you have to kind of, like, motivate your child without essentially buying them in a sense.
But I think my incentive became I saw what dirty looked like and being part of dirty. You know what I mean? And I was like, oh, I don't want to be like part of it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want my space to look like this. I don't want to be like this. I think it was like societal or like peer pressure or like things were like, oh, you have a gross room. Like, why would I want to come over to your house? And you know what I mean? Like, your room's gross. So I'm like,
Gabe, why would we want to come over to your house?
I'm like, no. I was like, my house, my room's, you know what I mean? Like, we can hang
It's
out.
got air fresheners.
It's got air, yeah. I had them even when I was younger. You know, I like to have my room smell a certain way. Because then you get up for a hard day and you walk in and you're like, my room smells like cherries.
But like all topics we talk about, take with a grain of salt. We're not
no
professionals.
experts.
This is literally just us shooting the shit while we're eating dinner, talking about topics from like our perspective and like what we've learned, what we want to still learn, kind of thing. And so that's kind of like how we feel about chores and cleaning. But thanks for sticking with us today and join us for another round of dinner and discussion. And we'll be back next Friday. Will actually be, if you're watching this in order, if you're not, like, to each their own, but we will be in Disney next week.